Welcome back to Not Just Fishing. I'm Alan, and I just was thinking about buzz baits a lot lately. I've been watching the pros, and they use a lot of buzz baits, but they don't normally use, lately anyway, they don't use a lot of traditional buzz baits. They use the buzz toad, which is a buzz bait, but it's got a soft plastic on it instead of the skirt. I noticed some of the pros, they don't even really have a weight on there. It's just the soft plastic. So I was watching some YouTube videos, not really related to this, but I've been watching the Engineered Angler a lot, and he's very good lure making. He explains things really well. He's got some really cool ideas. And the other day, he was showing making a wired Snelled hook. And so he was just taking a regular spinnerbait hook and some wire. And this is probably a little thin for this. This is 0.35, 0.035. 0.040 probably be a little better. But he was running it through the hook eye. And then he would kind of bend this part down to be level with the hook. And then he was taking the tag end and wrapping it around the shank of the hook. Just like a Snelled hook that uses line, but he was doing it with wire. And I was really intrigued by that. And he don't like to melt his lead. He uses this system, and then he slides a bullet weight on, and he makes his spinnerbait like that. And that's kind of a cool idea for those who don't want to melt their lead. I was intrigued by his technique, and I was thinking there's got to be an application that I can use that for. And watching the pros, using the, so anyway, I took his idea and I made a buzz frog out of it. And this particular one, I got the weight on there, the bullet weight, but you could do this without the bullet weight. You know, soft plastic has a little bit of weight to it. So I'm going to try the next one here without the weight. But I'm going to pull this off of here real quick and show you what I really liked about his technique. And then I made it my own a little bit. So he just wrapped the wire around the hook, and then I got epoxy on there so you can't really see it. But my thought was I could leave a tag in and make a soft plastic hook, a soft plastic grip, a keeper, soft plastic keeper. So we're going to get started, which I kind of already did because I ran the wire through the hook eye. And I think it's better to have it on the top side of the hook instead of the bottom. I did one on the bottom, and I didn't like the way that it worked. So first up, just running the wire through the hook eye and then bending it down where it's semi-level to the shank of the hook. Then what I did was take a pair of vice grips and grab the hook eye and the wire and somewhat held it in place like that. And then I just took and I started wrapping the wire, just getting it started, kind of grabbing the angle, bending it 45-degree angle to the hook shaft, and then getting it started to wrap around the hook shank. And once I got it started, I took my pliers, I took needle nose. I took some needle nose and I just grabbed the tag end, and I'm just gonna wrap it as tight as I can. And I think that you're gonna want 3 or 4 wraps. I think I did 3 on the first one. And then, so I took like an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches of wire through the hook eye. So I got plenty to work with here. I'm just wrapping it as tight of a wrap as I can get. The Engineered Angler had a really cool tool that helped him wrap it really tight. It was a modified hemostat clamp. And he just has it set up where it wraps around the hook shank, kind of grabs the edge of the wire, and all he had to do was spin it around. He got a really tight wrap. And I don't have that. So I'm trying to get as tight a wrap as I can with my pliers. And I want 3 or 4 good wraps. Get it as tight as I can. So let's reposition our vice grips here. And actually holding the part of the bend now too. And I don't think I left myself enough wire. Let's see, but you can see I got a nice good bend on it. That's obviously what we're looking for. Now I'm trying to leave this tag in such a way that it'll grab my soft plastic. Ideally, I would want it coming away from my coil a little bit and then coming back, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it on this one. But that is pretty. I'm liking that. That looks really good. That'll hold that soft plastic. And so if I'm not using a weight, then I would just run my soft plastic on here far enough that it'll go over the coils and everything. So just running it out and then just have it go over the coils and everything. And that gives me a nice, all that will help hold the soft plastic on there. So then it's just a matter of bending the rest of this in the shape of a normal buzzbait. And so that's easy enough. What I would recommend is taking one of your buzzbaits that you already have, your favorite buzzbait, matching the hooks up, and then matching the angle and getting your twists. I mean, there's nothing rocket science about bending your wire and getting all that on there. But that snelling that hook and leaving that tag end up, I think that has a lot of possibilities. Now, again, if I wanted to add a weight to this, I can take any size bullet weight that I want and just slide it on there. Now, what I did notice, okay, let's take the frog off of there. That works really good. What I did notice was that some of these bullet weights have a concave hole in it. And that's kind of nice for, it kind of covers the hook a little, or the hook eye a little bit. And then you can just put epoxy down in there, and the epoxy will help hold all that together, strengthen the joint. Not that the joint needs any straightening. That thing barely moves at all. But a little bit of epoxy would really work good for that. But the trick on the weight, and I think if you didn't want a lot of weight, but you still wanted to use a small weight, you could take a drill and drill that out, and that weight could cover almost all of your twists. And then all you would have was your bait keeper down here. And I think you could play with that and have some fun and really modify this stuff and get it to be the way you want it. But my thought, I guess I got sidetracked. My thought was, and I guess I said it, but this is one that I pour myself as far as a bullet weight, and they're solid on the bottom. But I can take a drill, like a 3/16 bit on it. It's the same size as my hook eye, and just, probably should hold that with some pliers. Just take that and drill that out. You can drill as much as you want. The farther you go, I mean, obviously you go too far, you're going to start poking out your weight, but, which I guess I started doing, but I went pretty far up in there. And then you can slide that over. And obviously this works for your spinnerbaits too, if that's what you want to, the way you want to make your spinnerbaits. But drilled that out, and now no coils can be seen, just like if you poured it. I don't know, possibilities are endless. And let me say also that if you're going to use a weight on your buzz bait, on your buzz frog, I didn't do anything special to this one. I had painted it a while back. This is just one I had laying around. But before you paint it, if you want to take and put it on some sandpaper or a grinder or something, you can actually make the flat edges. They say this flat edge just helps it keep lift. You just take your favorite lure, buzz bait, and you match the angles. So keep your hook straight. This particular one has a little angle off of the, so the hook shank's level there, so this comes down. So you just take and bend it down. Get the length you want. That's the length I want. So that's where I'm going to make my R bend. Now, you can make a twist bend if you want, but an R bend, you're just going to come all the way down, because you're going to bend it back up. And then to make the R, just grab it close to the end, and then you're just going to bend it straight out. Now, it's not perfect, so I'm going to do it again and just keep messing with it until I get the bend that I want. Actually, this is probably easier. This is what I did the first time. I forgot. I'm going to take another pair of pliers and grab that R and pull that in and then bend it up. Now I get my R bend. Just get your bend the way you want it, and then you're gonna get your length for your buzz bait. How far away from your other line do you want it? And so you just grab that spot there. You're gonna bend it down. So my buzz bait, just throw a bead on there. Now, if you go and you buy blades, which I'm going to buy some more. I got more of this size than I want, but I'm really wanting some 1/8 size. I want to make some little ones with some small swim baits on it in the spring and all the little bait fish and all that. But I like a bead up front. Some of my buzz baits don't have a bead up front. I just think it helps to keep it from getting caught, maybe trying to go around that corner. Same with my spinner baits. I always like some beads on there. Anyway, and then my rivet squeaker tab. See, I had a little extra. I should have put that extra down here, but I want a little extra anyway, just so I have room to work here. So my rivet, I want it to be, I don't want it to be tight up against here. This needs to have room to move. So I'm backing it off like 1/4 of an inch, something like that, maybe less, but 1/4 of an inch from my buzz blade. And then I'm just taking my the part that you would cut wire, the wire cutter part of my needle nose, and crimping down that rivet. And then I grab my rivet and I'm going to bend the wire straight down towards the hook. And then that just gives it a stop for the rivet. And then I'm going to take my snips and just leaving just 1/8 of an inch or so. Snip that off of there. And then that leaves my buzzbait. So a little bit of movement isn't going to bother me. So if that frog has a little bit of extra action to it, so be it. That hook is not going anywhere. It's tight. So good luck. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you experiment and find ways to make lures that that you see the pros using without spending $7 to $15 on some of this stuff. I'm Alan, Not Just Fishing. Hope you enjoyed it.